No doubt about it, the larger room, right? Because as I pointed out when you just mentioned that Wall Street Journal article, America's college towns go from boom to bust. It was focused on, I think, Western Illinois, where it's housed, right? Western Illinois has gone from something like 15,000 students to well under 10,000 students now, and the town is essentially going out of business, from what I could tell in that story. And, as I pointed out to you, I rarely read comments on stories, but sometimes I like to go into comments to see what people are saying about things. And that was one of the stories I did. And what was interesting to me is that the debate was really around higher education in 2025. And we think about, it costs too much, takes too long, too many students who leave without a degree, too many students who leave with a degree and don't have the right job. It was all around the article was less about, hey, are we worried about our college towns? We're more worried about our colleges. And it was really, I think it really, to me, encapsulated what the American narrative is right now, the American public narrative around higher education. And if I'm sitting in an institution right now, we're not really loved at all. And I think people in higher ed need to get that. Like, fighting back on this is important, but you need to fight back with some allies, and you don't have a lot of allies right now. I mean, look at Michael, I texted you when the numbers came out from the National Student Clearinghouse recently, right? And you think about it, like all these numbers are starting to come back for higher ed in terms of, two-year trade programs at community colleges, certificate programs. Now, graduate programs are coming back. I think it's less about those international graduate programs, but more about programs that are very technical, where people need a graduate degree. But you know what's not coming back? A 4-year bachelor's degree. Like, we are still below, pre-pandemic numbers. And I think that speaks to what I saw in that article, in that, in those comments. And you mentioned this article I just did for New York Magazine on poaching students. There's just like all this competition now for students, because what's happening is, international students aren't coming to the US. So institutions further upstream in the rankings are grabbing students wherever they can. And as they do, institutions downstream, lower in the rankings, have to make up for their classes because now those students are going upstream. I mean, it's a complex system, as we know. And again, there's not enough people, a lot of people feeling sorry for higher ed right now. And if I'm sitting in a higher institution and I'm thinking about how to change the narrative, you have to start to gain allies somewhere in this fight.
Yeah, I think you're right. And you have to build a base locally, I think, right? You have to build a base where you are showing your value to your stakeholders. If you're a public institution, this is how we contribute to our community. This is what, because we're here, jobs, research for, solving intractable problems in our city, rural area, whatever it might be, contributing economic growth in the state. If you're a private institution, I think you have to be very clear about the value to, frankly, the country, because that's what they're looking for. America first, right? That's what the theme is right now. And I don't think it's just the administration. I think it is wider than that as well. And to your point, if you are not finding very clear ways to not just talk about it, but show it and act in it, I think you got to be it's an all hands on deck thing at the moment, I think.